How to set up Consent Mode version 2 in Google Tag Manager. This is an advanced tutorial. In the previous video session, I've shown you how quickly you can set up Google Tag Manager so that Consent Mode version 2 is working on your website. In this video session, I'm going to show you the advanced options that you may want to use for your setup, okay? In Google Tag Manager, simply select the workspace as in the container you want to set Consent Mode version 2. Let's press Templates. Here, let's search the gallery. These are third-party templates. Depending on the way that you've set up Consent Mode on your website, your service provider may actually have created a template for you. So let's search for Consent Mode and let's grab this mob here as an example. Read through what's going on. Add to workspace. I can see what's going on here and let's add that template. So that's one way to import a template. Let's press on New. And here we can actually create the template if we want, step by step, which may not be ideal for most websites, but we can also import a template. Let's select that option. Read through the terms and conditions for using Google Tag Manager Community Template Gallery, because we'll be agreeing to it. Let's save changes. At this moment, the easiest way to set up Consent Mode is by using a template. I can anytime delete the template on my Tag Manager workspace. So now using this particular one, let's add some configuration. When we press on Tags, we can press on New, as in Add New Configuration. Because we're using custom imported template, as you can see, most fields are automatically set up here. And yet, we have Add Data Redaction option or URL bypassing option. These may be ideal depending on the type of website you're operating. For example, if you're a local business serving Australian citizens only, then the requirements to set up Consent Mode on websites may change compared to, let's say, e-commerce operators serving worldwide. So these options are related to how Google receives data. Then we have advanced settings. All templates will give you these options. We have consent settings. For this example, here it is not set. What that means is it is set to a default state, which is denied. And that's exactly what we want in this example. Then what we need triggers. Consent initialization in this example is what we want. What that means is when someone interacts with our cookie banner, for example, that is when this tag should be triggered. Let's save changes. Then now we've got a template. We've imported it or search gallery and imported from there. We've set up a tag. We can always add new tags. Let's look at triggers. Here we can say, okay, you know what? Certain triggers are important. For example, YouTube video. If that's the case, you can trigger events accordingly. Okay, in this example, let's say YouTube video trigger. Let's save changes. Because there's so many options available, I won't cover what these are doing. Basically, you can configure Consent Mode in such way that certain events are sent or triggered under the conditions you're setting here. Then we also have variables. And here, this will actually be for website owners or even web developers managing their own client site. Because you can define your own custom variables. For example, JavaScript variable, right? Or let's imagine regular expressions table. Yeah, these are complex. You need to read the help section as to what these are doing, okay? You can always add notes. You can discard changes. You can even configure built-in variables depending on the template that you're using. You can remove some or even add some. But ideally, since you're using templates, the default built-in variables should stay in its place, as in you should not remove them. Okay? But you can define your own variables. You can even run custom JavaScript code, as we can see. Let's imagine we wanted to run Google Ads conversion tracking event. Let's say on a certain page. Then you can run your custom JavaScript. Let's save changes. I'll show you what this does. Then in this example, we can add a new variable and say, okay, when the URL is and so on, or if it's triggered on the website, that's when the conversion event should occur. Okay, so we can always delete the variables. The triggers, the variables, they can be helpful depending on the website that you're setting up Consent Mode version 2.4. So this is how you set up Consent Mode in Google Tag Manager. As I've said, the previous video session has shown you a simple approach that if you're not technically skilled to understand what's been said in this video, then definitely watch the previous video. Also, Rank Your Website is creating new content for Consent Mode version 2 as well. I thank you for learning with Rankia, and I'll talk with you in the next video session.